Beauty, they tell us, is in the eye of the beholder. But whatever your idea of beauty might be, we all want it in our garden. A space that sings to our hearts and our souls, that calms us and gives us time to think. And that's precisely what I want to create for a very special lady here in County Durham. 89-year-old Maryanne Stevenson has spent her life working for the community, raising money for good causes, and would desperately love a garden in which to sit and enjoy herself. But here am I, waxing lyrical, without actually having seen it. Well, this is something, isn't it? Incredibly bare, and that wall there means that from the house you can't really see any of the garden. Strange. Shed is alarmed. Shed isn't alarmed, it's scared stiff. But it's like decent width and a decent length. But it's a bit dull, isn't it? And messy and wet at the moment. Gonna go and hide. I want to meet this lady I've heard all about. Hope she's waterproof. Mary thinks she's going to be interviewed about her charity work by a local news crew. Hello.
Hey, where have you come from?
I've been hiding behind your shed. How are you?
Well, there's all sorts hide behind there, but I would have expected you.
No, well, I've never been behind a shed like that before.
Oh, I have.
I don't wish to go there, Mary. That is too much information. How are you? You're
Fine, thank you.
You're all right.
Yeah.
Well, they tell me you've done an awful lot for the community around here.
Yes, I have.
Yeah.
When anybody's down, I pick them up, and that's it.
Throughout her life, Mary has raised thousands for local charities.
If there was anything to be done, she would take on that role of organising something and trying to get something done.
But it was in the 80s that a plea from the local hospital led to Mary's greatest achievement, raising money for 2 neonatal incubators.
We had to transfer babies from Hartlepool, which is a small hospital, to places like Newcastle. Transferring them in an ambulance without the incubator was very, very difficult.
They didn't have the funding and it was going to be quite a while before they got it. So my mum then said, well, we'll raise it. And they did it.
To lose a baby must be the worst thing imaginable. So I'm pleased I've been able to do it. And I would do it again if it was necessary.
What Mary did has definitely saved lives. It could be hundreds of lives.
Mary's passion for helping others didn't stop there. Ever since, she's done everything she can to better the lives of the Peterlee community.
If I saw anybody in need of anything, I was there. I was there for them. But that's life. That's what you're supposed to do, isn't it? Help each other.
In the last few years, Mary's health has suffered, and even with daughter Carol looking after her, she spends most of her time at home. A new garden would not only improve her quality of life, but also be the perfect way to say thank you for the years she's helped others.
This garden will mean everything to her, and she will spend many happy hours in that garden. She will just absolutely love it.
Have you got memories of gardens from when you were little?
Yes. Well, just before we got to the school, there was this house, white, just like a doll's house. And I used to love it, and I used to think, beautiful. In early morning, you could smell the roses.
So it was a rose garden?
Yes.
Yeah.
Looking at this house, I was thinking, one day I'll have a house like that.
How old are you now?
I'm 89.
So you've had to wait an awful long time. Well, I'll tell you what, I'll get a few friends around and we'll give you a garden that says thank you for everything you've done, for you to sit in, for you to come out, for you to...
Don't be too enthusiastic or I'll cry. Don't like to cry.
All right then, don't you worry. Look, let's go, it's starting to rain. I'll get you dry anyway, make me a cup of tea. You're very welcome. What a lovely lady. Goodness me. And fancy dreaming about a rose garden for 78 years. She's waited long enough, hasn't she, for the garden of her dreams? Take a bit of doing, but we can make dreams come true. Mary's dream, anyway. With no time to lose, I've asked David Dominy and Katie Rushworth to help me transform Mary's garden, and I'm putting them straight to work.
Hey up, Katie, it's your stunt double.
You cheeky sod. Bye-bye, Mrs. No.
So while the team gets started, I've come to the nearby village of Stocksfield to see a garden that will hopefully give me some ideas as to how to create the perfect design for Mary. It's said that the reason we respond to beauty in the garden is that the right combination of flowers triggers the release of a feel-good chemical in the brain called dopamine. Now, if that's true, here we are quite literally being seduced by petal power. Three-quarters of this garden has been turned over to planting. What minimal landscaping there is has been designed to get you as close as possible. Creating an immersive experience in the garden means putting you right at the centre of it. The end of this little winding path is a secret seating area where you can sit by a limpid pool with a waterfall. Now here, you really are embraced by this glorious garden. If you want to see how the right combination of plants can create beauty in a garden, then just look at this view on different layers, starting with border perennials like the orange helenium, the sneezeweed, a bright pop of orange from a rose at a higher level, along with the hydrangeas. That's where you've got the shrubs. Here we've got different layers, different colours, different forms and textures, all creating this beautiful image. It's a painterly garden. As well as a feast for the eyes, the planting's been designed to entice you to explore the garden. Two narrow borders, framed at the end by an archway beyond which is an urn. Not only is your eye taken forward, you actually want to go and look at it too, don't you? The clever thing is that the urn isn't actually directly underneath the arch. You get the enjoyment of walking underneath roses and honeysuckle, enjoying the fragrance, and then the urn is slightly beyond, beautifully shown off against this evergreen backdrop of ivy. Nifty, eh? This is undoubtedly a plantsman's garden, and within the glorious borders, there's one plant that stands above all others. It's impossible to talk about beauty in a garden without mentioning roses. Beloved of poets and tattooists, it's still the flower we send as a gesture of love more than any other. But for me, it's in a garden that the rose proves its worth as our favourite flower. There's almost every variety here, from climbers scrambling over structures to elegant shrub roses. And then there are standard roses. The secret is to prune them in winter to encourage shoots in spring to come out evenly all the way round and to feed them well. And you end up with a beauty like this, which becomes a tremendous focal point. I can't replicate this garden for Maryanne. It would be far too much for her. But what I can do is provide glorious plant combinations, calm seating areas, and certainly plenty of roses to give her a design that she'll love. Now, Maryanne is nearly 90. I don't want to give her a garden which is too labour-intensive, but I want to give it the feeling I've got here of being surrounded and cradled by plants. There are one or two arches in this garden which are really effective, So what I thought I'd do down the left-hand side of the garden is a series of arches. It'll make a wonderfully fragrant walk for Maryanne, leading to a focal point at the end. And that whole area there, I'll give David the charge of. A sitting area over on the right, in front of the shed. So then the area in front of it becomes the courtyard. I want Katie to take charge of that. Then down here by the house, this will be mine. I want a major on roses here, a pergola overhead, and underneath it, another sitting area. The icing on the cake for this garden will be a practical way of making sure that it's easy to maintain. This simple design, made up of 3 separate areas linked by beautiful, fragrant plants, will give Mary a garden that literally immerses her in beauty. Katie and David have already begun putting in a framework of landscaping to show off the plants. A series of pale-coloured walkways, easy-to-manage raised beds, and a coat of paint for the fences.
Now, in Alan's design, he's put down the end here a place to take tea and entertain. So I want to transform this shed because currently it's really dominant. It doesn't look pretty at all. That's the plan. Time to get cracking.
Mary's shed was structurally sound, and with some stylish upgrades, it'll soon fit in with my new design.
Now, I've chosen these really nice cedar tiles to clad the top of this roof because it gives a really lovely rustic feel and look to the shed. Now, you could use felt if you wanted to. It'd be much cheaper because these are about £500 to do the whole roof, or you could even use felt tiles. Once it's down, it should last you about 20 years. So, you could say it's definitely worth the money.
The next job is the positioning of the arches to create the rose walkway.
Where are they going?
I think we'll just get them into the garden for the minute, just put them in there. Now, I've chosen these metal arches. There are many different types of arches you can use, actually. Wooden ones are probably the most common. The only thing with those wooden ones, you've got to keep treating them to keep them lasting long. And sometimes it's very difficult to paint in between all the branches that are growing over. So the metal ones are really good because they're very low maintenance. That's great. Thank you, Matt. Now, I don't think we need too many more than that. I think that's just right.
Right, what I'm hoping we'll see now is the simplicity of the design. David, this walkway, I wanted rather more arches than just 3.
I've got a couple of spare ones there. Are you all right for a minute to help me position them?
Yeah. Let's take this one. If you put this at the end of that path there, suddenly it starts to become a tunnel rather than just 3 arches.
Okay.
Katie, this shed now becomes, in a way, a summer house leading onto this courtyard, so that's all to be done.
Yeah.
And I've got my area here, pergola cum gazebo, with shade material on the top.
Yeah, perfect.
Straight out the house underneath it.
Lovely, she'll love that.
What I do need to do, though, is try and make that pebbled ash wall just a little bit more pleasant to look at.
It's a fair point, Alan, a fair point.
You wish me luck, dear.
Yeah.
If I'm going to bring beauty to the back of the house, I'll need something to plant against. Spot on. An off-the-shelf trellis is the perfect solution. I'm putting in here a camellia. Now, a camellia isn't a climber. It's an evergreen shrub, but it's very good to train against a wall, or in this case, trellis. And it gives evergreen foliage, of course, right the way through the year. And then in spring, those lovely flowers, in this case, a really rich, deep pink. They can grow in full sun as long as they don't get dry at the roots. I'm adding variegated ivy, a little pink potentilla, and euonymus emerald gaiety. If you plant it against a wall, it sort of works its way up. There we are. As a famous British leader once said, it may not be the beginning of the end, but it's the end of the beginning of the garden. What do you think?
It's very pretty. I like it very much.
I like the colours.
Yeah.
And scissor with that pink potentilla, isn't it?
Yeah.
Lovely.
It's all so clean around here. It's like a little oasis in a desert of mud. Very good job with that. The only experience I've had with those is those grabbers in the amusements.
You ready?
We're in Peterlee, making a garden for 89-year-old Mary. We go, halfway across that bit? She's dedicated her life to raising money for good causes, and we want to give her a beautiful rose garden, reminiscent of one from her childhood, to say thank you. Having added colour to the back wall, I'm moving on to the next stage of my seating area, which is not without its challenges. When you've got a bed that you view from both sides, you've got to make the view from both sides equally attractive. Now, you can plant it up just higgledy-piggledy. What I like to do with beds that come out into the garden like this is to put a sort of higher ridge of plants down the centre and then get slightly lower as you come to the edge on both sides. And that means there's a view from here going up to there and a view from there going up to here. It just carries your eye forward. All the borders in this garden will feature Mary's favourite flower, the rose. I'm combining mine with perennials in complementary pastel shades. This is Persicaria, a really useful perennial. It will die down in winter, but it will give me this summer ridge down the centre and these lovely sort of rat's tails of flowers. You can get them in varying shades of pink. This is Gypsophila, known to florists as Gyp, common name baby's breath. I'm majoring in this bed on scent, so if I split those persicarias up a bit with rosemary coming up to the middle, that'll give me height in winter as well. And of course, oh, that glorious fruity scent, rosemary, for remembrance, eh? Well, there.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
There.
Yeah, that's better.
And then I just need something to get
There.
wham in there.
Yes.
We do this. It's called planting by committee. It makes us both feel better. She advises me and I take notice. I advise her and she does exactly what she wants. True. Time for the main attraction, a rose. This variety won't grow more than 60 centimetres high. Perfect for my border. But what should you look for when buying a rose for your garden? For me, a rose isn't a rose unless it has a glorious scent. This one's quite apple. This is called Sweet Jessica. You're looking, when you buy the bush itself, for a decent amount of stems, well spaced. This has got lots of stems coming out here. If it's a bit mingy with a couple going out one side, leave it alone. Don't go for it. But one thing you do need to look at as well is the foliage on a rose bush. If it's leathery and shiny like this, it will be much more resistant to mildew and black spot. Disease resistance will save you spraying. I never spray my roses at all. And if you've got good foliage, good fragrance and good colour and a good framework of branches, you've got a good rose. When you see roses growing like this, you can see how the variety has been grafted onto the rootstock, this knobbly bit. I like to try and get them well down in the ground so that rootstock is covered up. And the base of the variety stems are also under soil level, because then they'll additionally hopefully root from there, which gives it even greater stability. This is French lavender. You can tell the difference between French lavender and English lavender, because French lavender has this little tuft of sort of bracts above the flowers. They last really well, these. A gorgeous scent. They always remind me of mentholyptus sweets. Not lavender at all, but beautifully fragrant. I hope what I've created here is something which gives the same sort of feeling I had in that inspirational garden, sitting on that chair surrounded by flowers. Back in Peterlee, we're making a beautiful rose garden for Mary, who's 89. It's important that it's not only lovely to spend time in, but is also easy to look after.
What we're putting together here is an irrigation system that will water all of Mary's plants automatically. And this particular one here is a series of pipes that we're going to place all the way around the garden. And the whole thing is powered from here. Of course, it always starts with an outside tap. We put a computer actually on it as well. Now, this computer can be set to how much water that is generated for the whole garden and what the duration of that is and what days you want them to go on. Now, the whole system, which is the computer, the distribution box, and all the piping, wiring and hosing, comes to about £500. And it's going to carry water around. Now, some of them, like this bed here, has got little upright sprayers that's going to saturate this patch. Other areas along the base of the border have got little hose pipes that are perforated and water will just seep out. So across all of the garden here, with a touch of a button, Mary's going to be able to water all of her plants.
Hey, we have water. Marvellous. Oh, is this going to be for your formal scheme then?
It is, David. You'd never be allowed in my courtyard with that shirt on.
Hey, on about cheeky monkey.
Not formal enough. In this whole bed along here, I want to plant in a more formal style, so it'll feel very distinct compared to the rest of the garden. We're starting with the Gertrude Jekyll rose in the centre here. Now, when planting a formal garden style, you really need to work in some evergreens because you want that kind of solid structure all year round that's going to let the other plants flourish in between. So I'm using these viburnums to bookend this section. So you can see now they've got that lovely symmetry, which already frames that rose perfectly. So next up, I've got these gorgeous delphinium. And again, they give me this kind of lovely upright form and slightly mirror this symmetry that's going on with the viburnum at either end. Now, the rose will flower first in May, and then these will come up later in the year when the rose is still flowering. So it's kind of just another added interest. They're so elegant as well, gorgeous. Now I've got my kind of big upright structures in place, I want to put in what is my understory. It kind of covers the bare branches of the roses. They can look a little bit unsightly at times. Once they start to reach maturity, they don't have the prettiest of underskirts. I am using Hebes. This is a really compact variety. It's brilliant for giving ground cover. And I've also got lavender because lavender and roses are just a classic combination. Now, if you're wanting a rose for scent, Gertrude Jekyll is really quite something. I mean, it just smells delicious. It's like strawberries and imperial leather all rolled into one. Now, if you deadhead this, it will flower from May right up until October, November, possibly. And the trick to deadheading is you need to remove the stem back to a new growth point. So you can see here, it has been deadheaded there and there. And really, it should have been taken back now to the next point of growth. And then that will send up new shoots and it will flower all over again. Never just remove the head because it will just create that little stem to die back to the next growth point and it will never give you new flowers. If you deadhead them, they will just keep flowering and flowering and flowering. One of my first jobs as a gardener was looking after a rose garden, and it feels really nostalgic to be planting delphiniums and roses and lavender together. Just beautiful combination.
The last touches to my seating area are going in. Some neutral-coloured furniture completes the perfect space for Mary to sit and relax on a hot summer's day. Look at that. Can you see the garden from there? I think they might need a smaller one.
I think so, yeah.
But if this were the only garden you had, it'd be all right, wouldn't it?
You're right there. Bring that in up here.
In County Durham, the team are trying to bring some beauty to what was a concrete jungle for 89-year-old inspirational fundraiser Mary.
James, you're the gift that keeps on giving. Look at that.
What are you doing? Clear off! Can't a fella get any sleep?
This little summer house comes with its own troll, it seems.
I know Katie has done pretty well with her formal rose garden over there, and I will add some roses into mine, but I want these beds to be a little bit more informal, combination of shapes and textures of plants. Well, I'm just bringing in these lovely escalonias here. It's called Pink Ellie. Gorgeous flowers. You've got the light pink on the outside and with a white in the heart. And look at the buds as well. They're almost like tipped with colour against this lovely emerald green foliage in the background. I am going to add some roses in as well. A rambler at the back I think will be perfect. We've got this trellis work just up here, and this is a lovely rambling rose. It's called Malvern Hills, and it's a repeat flower, and it'll just spread all the way along the back here. There we go. Geraniums here, these daisies are going to cascade over the front, and as they grow together, their informality creates a beauty all on its own.
To ensure both borders work together,
Are you off into your new home?
David's using the same plants, but arranging them differently in each border.
Compared to the other side, which is Katie's, which is quite symmetrical in some way, where the borders here have an element of a random nature, and it gives them quite a personality and beauty, and that's what this garden's all about.
As a focal point in Katie's formal area of the garden, I wanted a water feature, something that tied the three areas of the garden together and that brings a sense of calm and an added layer of beauty.
Now my water feature is in and looking rather wonderful, it's time to plant around it. And I kind of want to do a mixture of two things. I want to do a mixture of formal, because my area is formal, and kind of bring in the informality of David's area. So I'm using the Hebe again, which I used over there, kind of giving me some mirroring and balance, but then I'm adding softer things like this Gora here, which is a lot more delicate, and then the pretty hardy geraniums at the front. So it's kind of a nice mix between the two, which is perfect for the centre of the garden. Now this stunner is Japanese anemone, and it's a variety, is Fantasy Jasmine. It's a compact variety, which I've never actually seen before. So it only gets to 40 centimetres tall, which is wonderful because usually they're really big. They can get to like 1.5, 2 metres. They're brilliant for late summer colour. This will flower all the way into the autumn. And you know what? They're really fuss-free. You just get on with it and look wonderful at the end of the season when not much else does. And the last stage of my water feature is to cover this grid because it's really unsightly. To do that, I've got some Scottish pebbles, so they're just going to go down here. It also enhances the sound of the water when it lands on the pebbles. It's a beautiful noise. And also it will help retain the water, so it will splash onto the pebbles and then drip down off the pebbles back down into the reservoir instead of kind of dripping onto a hard surface and bouncing off into the bed. And that's the last of the pebbles down on my water feature. Look at that. It looks really beautiful, and you can see now how focal point from Mary's seating area will draw our eye right to here, and all the planting ties in with both David's and the planting behind. I think it's turned out to be a rather beautiful courtyard.
While another part of the garden is close to being finished, there's still an awful lot of work to be done.
Wonderful focal point at the end of the garden, a split bag of topsoil and a shovel artfully placed. But there will be a focal point here, because this is the walkway, the rose walkway, that will hopefully remind Maryanne of that little place that she saw as a child when she was wee. Because these arches now are in position. They link as you go back. You now see them coming one after another. But if we left them bare, it would be very gaunt and not really inspiring. So we're planting star jasmine over some, and roses, David, here.
That's right.
And the other one, climbers.
Beautiful. This was called Lakeland. It's got a really sweet smell to it.
Oh, that's beautiful, isn't it? If you want to do those roses there, I'll go down the end and start getting those star jasmines in and see if I can bring them down to the right height. There's a challenge.
Yes.
If you want to create instant impact with climbers,
A moment of truth. Let's see if it fits.
then a fully mature star jasmine like this will cost you about £150. You can buy smaller, cheaper varieties, but they'll only grow 12 to 24 inches a year.
The great thing is about fragrance from roses, but also fragrance from star jasmine, Trachila spermum. And it's evergreen, so these arches with the star jasmine on will stay green all the year round. And these lovely flowers that come, white, starry flowers, which are beautifully perfumed. And eventually they'll thicken out. You see all these shoots here, they're going to grow and cover this framework.
And there are roses everywhere. But if you want to add beauty to your garden, there are plenty of other flowers that have just as much impact as the nation's favourite bloom. Maryanne loves roses, so do I. It's roses, roses all the way through the summer. But there are other great flowers, particularly for mid to late summer, that I would never be without. And one of them is the hydrangea. Pink if the soil's slightly alkaline, blue on acid soil if you're lucky. And these are the more pointed ones, hydrangea paniculata. And you can see here the delightful feature. This flower is fully out, this one is nearly fully out, this one is not quite nearly fully out, and this one is yet to come. Look at the interest you're going to get there over weeks on end, and that's what most of us want, is good value from a plant. So too are these. Penstemons, a very elegant foxglove-like plant. They're good in any ordinary soil, in the spot, in sunshine. So too is this. Gaura. A lot of people grow this, but it's such a pretty flower. I always think they look like little butterflies landing on a plant. And if you're looking for an elegant filler, Gaura really fits the bill. But if you want spectacle, Alstroemeria, with these amazingly marked flowers, almost as if they've been painted with a brush. They've got quite thick roots, like little tubers, and they will spread, but who would argue with that, which will flower on and off right the way through the summer? Alstroemeria. Good cut flower too. With the arches now planted, it's time to add the all-important focal point at the end of the walkway.
Now this plinth here is going to hold our focal point. There are many different options you can choose for a centrepiece. And this is just a shard of slate, and you can mount this up to create something that's a little bit more artistic. Or you could even go for a walk down on the beach if you're nearby, choosing a really nice sculptured bit of beech wood. The other favourite, of course, is statues. And there's quite a diverse point of view about these. Are they really cool and stylish, or do they have their tendency to look a little, well, artificial in the garden? But it's quite mid-range in price compared to choosing your own driftwood or slate shard. But at the high end of the price scale, it has something really classical. This is the armillary sundial. I love them. I've got one of these in my own garden. I think the classical shape works really well. And nestled in here with all the beautiful flowers that are around, right at the end of the arch, I think for Mary, this is going to be a really beautiful focal point. Alan?
Yeah?
Have you got a moment? I'm just trying to choose the right centrepiece here. I've got a couple of options. What do you think Mary would prefer to be at the bottom of her archway?
Well, I've been studying quite carefully the kind of ornaments that she likes.
Yes.
And this figures predominantly.
Oh, do me a favour.
I think I can pop that somewhere in among the planting, which is quite elegant. It's very much Mary's kind of thing. This is on holiday next door, so Katie Catch, you can stay on holiday next door for a little while longer. Got it?
I'll stay with this and
So good.
and I'll give you her.
Find her. Look at me when I'm talking to you.
The 3 key areas of the garden are in place. Now, all that's left is to get the planting finished.
There's an awful lot of plants going in. It's a massive hive of activity. Look at everyone packed in.
Better. Have we brought beauty to Peterlee?
I think we have.
I'd say it's
In Spain.
gorgeous.
Look at it. Everywhere you look, there's something in flower or something looking really small.
Beautiful, isn't it?
Gorgeous.
Let's go and see if we've made Maryanne's dream come true. Come on.
Just 4 days ago, Mary's garden was a desert of orange paving, walls and gnomes. Lonely pots stood in a sea of gravel. And everything was, well, just a bit sad and grey. It was the very opposite of beauty. Not anymore. An elegant dining courtyard is framed by a formal rose bed and a burbling water feature. A rose arch walkway leads you through the garden to a stunning focal point, alongside raised beds of informal planting. The pergola is surrounded by fragrant flowers and another seating area to let Mary relax and take tea. And everywhere are roses in all their forms and all their beauty. After a lifetime of raising funds to help sick children, we've created for Mary the rose garden she's dreamed of since she was a little girl. For more information on how we built this garden, go to itv.com/Alan. I want you to open your eyes.
Oh, it's beautiful. How the hell have you done it like that? It's absolutely beautiful.
I'm going to get Carol to walk round with you. Carol?
Yeah?
Come the other side of your mum. All right.
Isn't it beautiful?
Oh, wow.
I didn't start crying. You set me awake.
Good. I'm on all the roses.
Beautiful. Oh, Mum. Your water feet. Oh, that's good.
And it works.
You have brought my dream to fruition.
Look, Mum, have you seen these? The arbours are lovely.
You get a view from here, across
To your
over the water, to your dining area.
Absolutely beautiful. I cannot say anything else.
You've made a reality to me.
Dream come true because it's here.
Your raised beds.
Mm-hmm. Gorgeous.
Yeah, you'd still be able to do a little bit of gardening now.
Yes. I love coming out here in the morning. It's fantastic.
Shall we let a few friends come in and have a look?
Yeah.
Yes.
80 years ago, a little schoolgirl got told off for being late for school because she'd stopped to look at a rose garden that she's dreamed about ever since. Well, now, aged nearly 90, she's got a rose garden of her own. So hopefully, we've made that little schoolgirl's dream come true. Till the next time, I love you, guys. Bye-bye.